Rolling strictly underneath the heavy shadows of the painted sky, where the massive analog billboards are sitting incredibly high. Thick paper strips glued perfectly tight to the cold metal board. The absolute, undeniable, heavy physical metropolitan reward. Keep the staccato keys bouncing, let the halogen lamps glow. The greatest physical advertising that the avenue will entirely know. Yeah, I see the heavy utility truck parked strictly on the avenue dirt. The workers climbing the cold scaffolding in the thick heavy flannel shirt. They carrying the heavy plastic buckets filled with the thick white paste. In this 99 era, there is absolutely zero physical time to waste. Using the massive heavy brooms to entirely smooth the giant paper down, creating the ultimate visual centerpiece of this entire western town. Strip by entirely heavy strip, the physical puzzle completely comes to life, cutting strictly through the heavy smog with a sharp metaphorical knife. When the California sun beats down, the heavy ink absolutely starts to fade. But that is exactly how the authentic 99 aesthetic is completely made. The deep, low end bass entirely vibrating the heavy steel support beams, supplying the undeniable heavy soundtrack to these massive painted dreams. We ain't staring completely down at our hands, we looking strictly up at the crown. The heavy physical monuments completely dominating the entire town. Rolling strictly underneath the heavy shadows of the painted sky, where the massive analog billboards are sitting incredibly high. Thick paper strips glued perfectly tight to the cold metal board. The absolute, undeniable, heavy physical metropolitan reward. Keep the staccato keys bouncing down, let the halogen lamps glow. The greatest physical advertising that the avenue will entirely know. You cruise perfectly past the heavy intersection where the 5 boulevards meet. The absolute most premium physical location, completely strictly on the street. They entirely painting a brand new heavy album cover directly onto the brick. The staccato bounces keeping the atmosphere incredibly undeniably thick. The heavy aerosol cans and the thick brushes completely making the magic real, projecting the exact heavy aesthetic that the neighborhood is entirely supposed to feel. At midnight, the massive yellow halogen lamps completely strictly click entirely on, illuminating the heavy painted faces strictly into the early morning dawn. It is a completely physical gallery hovering strictly above the heavy traffic jam, showing the entire heavy universe exactly who are physically and entirely in. The heavy V8 engine completely purring right underneath the towering signs, reading perfectly strictly between the absolute heavy painting. Physical life. You respect the heavy manual labor that it takes to entirely put the vision in the sky. The physical analog visual dominance that will completely, entirely never die. Rolling strictly underneath the heavy shadows of the painted sky, where the massive analog billboards are sitting incredibly high. Thick paper strips glued perfectly tight to the cold metal board. The absolute, undeniable, heavy physical metropolitan reward. Keep the staccato keys bouncing, let the halogen lamps glow. The greatest physical advertising that the avenue will entirely know. Yeah. Let's go. I push the heavy glass door open, smelling the talcum powder and the cooling spray, preparing to wash the entire chaotic metropolitan stress completely and strictly away. The staccato keys are bouncing incredibly hard, strictly out of the wooden speaker box, while the master barber is entirely conquering the relentless ticking of the analog clocks. I take a seat in the heavy leather chair, spinning slowly directly to the mirror reflection, getting completely ready for the absolute, undeniably crisp West Coast visual perfection. He grabs the heavy metal clippers, flicking the mechanical switch strictly to the on position, executing the absolute flawless 99 street style and entirely physical mission. transmission. We talking about the heavy ball fade, tapering incredibly sharp right down to the skin. Exactly where the undeniable confidence of a completely true heavyweight champion begins. He uses the straight edge razor, keeping the heavy hairline perfectly straight and tight, making sure the physical silhouette looks absolutely flawless underneath the street light. The heavy bouncing baseline matching the precise physical movement of a steady hand, carving out the most respected and undeniable aesthetic in this completely Western land. Keep the heavy clippers buzzing, completely making the absolute sharpest line, making strictly sure the heavy fade and the high top completely perfectly shine. But the staccato chords hitting hard, the geometric angles sitting incredibly neat. The ultimate undeniable heavy crown, completely strictly for the concrete street. Yeah, brushing the heavy loose hair directly right off the protective nylon cape, mastering the absolute perfectly sharp and undeniably heavy 99 physical shade. Now look completely across the shop floor, my brother is sitting strictly in the second chair, building an absolute undeniable architectural masterpiece entirely out of the physical hair. He ain't going for the low taper, he requested the absolute towering high top fade, the heaviest structural physical statement that the golden era completely ever entirely made. The barber takes the heavy black plastic comb, lifting the crown directly towards the ceiling, providing that incredibly sharp, totally flat and completely undeniable 99 feeling. It takes an absolute heavy mathematical precision to get the top perfectly flat and square, building a completely undeniable physical monument strictly in the heavy barbershop air. The sharp bouncing chords hitting exactly like the crisp, entirely perfect edges of the cut, leaving the entirely lazy and completely unpolished competition permanently completely shut. You stack completely out onto the boulevard with the high top entirely defying the breeze, putting the heavy metropolitan critics and the completely jealous rivals perfectly at ease. It is a heavy badge of honor, a physical crown sitting entirely perfectly tall and proud, standing completely strictly undeniable directly above the heavy metropolitan crowd. Keep the heavy clippers buzzing, completely making the absolute sharpest line, making strictly sure the heavy fade and the high top completely perfectly shine. The staccato chords hitting hard, the geometric angles sitting incredibly neat. The ultimate undeniable heavy crown, completely strictly for the concrete street. Yeah, brushing the heavy loose hair directly right off the protective nylon cape, mastering the absolute perfectly sharp and undeniably heavy 99 physical shape. The heavy metal scissors are snipping rapidly, taking complete care of the entirely loose ends, exactly where the heavy professional discipline and the absolute street culture entirely blends. He grabs the heavy soft brush, dusting the white powder perfectly right across the neck, keeping the absolute undeniably crisp 99 aesthetic entirely strictly in check. I hand him the heavy folded green paper, showing the ultimate undisputed street respect for the absolute heavy confidence that his mechanical tools entirely and perfectly project. I step back completely out into the afternoon, the western sun strictly hitting my face, feeling completely entirely unstoppable, walking directly entirely through this physical space. I catch my reflection completely strictly inside the heavy tinted classic Chevy door glass, watching the entirely heavy and beautiful golden era minutes absolutely beautifully pass. The heavy fade is completely tight, the geometric lines are absolutely entirely incredibly clean, the sharpest undeniably heavy physical presentation that the avenue has completely ever seen. I drop the heavy transmission perfectly in the drive, rolling the classic iron completely down the strip, keeping the perfectly entirely heavy and completely confident grip strictly on the steering whip. Strictly on the steering whip. Yeah. The December wind. Yeah. The December wind is howling directly through the concrete street. The whole metropolitan city is feeling the undeniable late night heat. The grandfather clock is ticking steadily towards the 00 mark, waiting to see if the entire Western Hemisphere goes completely dark. They printing rumors about the Y2K bug in the daily newspaper press, claiming the financial institutions are gonna collapse into a chaotic mess. But I've been sitting down in the basement analyzing the electrical grid, doing exactly what a prepared independent 99 brother always did. Yeah, calculating the short circuit currents and mapping the 10 kV relay lines, preparing the autonomous systems before the final 99.
Sun declines.
I got the classic Chevy Suburban fueled up and parked right outside, ready to take the ultimate apocalyptic West Coast
Midnight ride.
Got the backup generator securely mounted
Directly in the trunk space,
keeping a solid grip on reality inside this
frantic metropolitan place. The pendulum is swinging straight towards the new millennium edge,
standing perfectly balanced upon the ultimate
generational edge.
We trade in the 19
for the brand new 2000 crown,
waiting patiently to see if the municipal power
is going down. Keep the pluck strings bouncing,
let the dark analog choir swell,
navigating the tension
of this undeniable
physical midnight spell.
The neighbors are running panic, buying bottled water from the corner store, treating this New Year's Eve like the beginning of an invisible
street war.
The staccato strings are bouncing, perfectly reflecting the urban paranoia. That universal global tension is creeping up quietly right
behind ya.
I look straight up at the smoggy, starless California sky, watching the most beautiful analog decade prepare to finally say
goodbye.
We lived through the wildest, most authentic era the block ever saw, from the magnetic cassette tapes to the raw, undeniable
street law.
We built an empire strictly out of concrete, vinyl, and a solid steel. You can't replicate exactly how this monumental transition is
supposed to feel.
If the heavy computers reset and wipe the bank accounts completely clean, we still possess the sharpest survival skills the avenue
has ever seen.
I trust a wrench in my hand and the knowledge inside my
own brain,
ready to weather the absolute heaviest incoming metropolitan rain.
The pendulum is swinging straight towards the new millennium edge,
standing perfectly balanced upon the ultimate
generational edge.
We trade in the 19
for the brand new 2000 crown,
waiting patiently to see if the municipal power
is going down. Keep the pluck strings bouncing,
let the dark analog choir swell,
navigating the tension
of this undeniable
physical midnight spell.
The mechanical gears are turning relentlessly inside the grand analog clock. The silence is incredibly thick, blanketing every single neighborhood block. The deep rumbling sub-bass is shaking the foundation under my leather boots, respecting the history while planting the brand new millennium roots. When the giant ball finally drops directly in the center of the town square, we gonna breathe in the completely different, unprecedented physical air. They thought the technological glitch would bring the society to its knees, but the 99 Street champions are handling the pressure with ease. I twist the key in the ignition, the V8 engine roars to absolute light, cutting right through the global anxiety with the sharp mechanical knife. The dashboard lights are glowing orange, the radio static is incredibly loud, standing independent and completely apart from the terrified rushing crowd. No matter what the calendar says, the authentic G-funk rhythm remains, running permanently inside the undeniable West Coast physical veins.
The pendulum is swinging straight towards the new millennium edge,
standing perfectly balanced upon the ultimate
generational edge.
We trade in the 19
for the brand new 2000 crown,
waiting patiently to see if the municipal power
is going down. Keep the plucked strings bouncing,
let the dark analog choir swell,
navigating the tension of this under undeniable physical midnight spell.
The staccato chords bouncing, the heavy drum kicking precise. Rolling up to the gymnasium, rolling the metropolitan dice. The velvet tuxedo, the silk dress gracefully hitting the floor. Closing the heavy academic chapter, unlocking a brand new door. Keep the high, keep the high, keep the high. Synth whining, let the rolling bass line drop. The 99 prom night magic is absolutely never gonna stop. Yeah, pulling up slow to a driveway, letting the V8 engine softly rumble. Making sure my confident West Coast swagger absolutely doesn't stumble. She usually finds a perfect peace relaxing on the living room couch, watching the television series, A Quiet Loyalty, for which I can vouch. But tonight she traded the cozy comfort for the glamorous flashing lights, stepping directly into the magic of these undeniable metropolitan nights. I walk up the concrete steps, pressing the glowing button on the doorbell, breaking the quiet suburban silence and the heavy evening spell. Her father opens the wooden door, giving me that strict protective stare. I open the plastic box, pinning the beautiful orchid to her dress with care. The rustling of the silk fabric perfectly matching the crisp drum break, knowing exactly how much undeniable neighborhood pride is at stake. I open the heavy Tahoe passenger door, helping my beautiful queen inside, taking the most victorious and flawless 99 West Coast ride. The staccato chords bouncing, the heavy drum kicking precise. Rolling up to the gymnasium,
Rolling the metropolitan dice.
the velvet tuxedo,
The silk dress gracefully hitting the floor.
closing the heavy academic chapter.
Unlocking a brand new door.
Keep the high, keep the high,
Keep the high, sit whining.
let the rolling bass line drop.
The 99 prom night magic
Is absolutely never
gonna stop.
cruising down the main avenue, the high-pitched synth whining, incredibly loud. We pull up to the school entrance, stepping right out
Into the flashing crowd.
They got the massive balloon arches framing the heavy double wooden doors, transforming the squeaky polished surface of the basketball.
Hardwood floor.
The DJ is strictly spinning the vinyl, dropping the undeniable heavy bounce, measuring the street respect by the absolute crisp and
Musical ounce.
the strobe lights cutting sharply through the thick artificial fog machine smoke. The sharply dressed brothers sharing a confident and quiet neighborhood joke. We hit the plastic punch bowl, pouring the red liquid into the crystal cup. The undisputed golden era energy is officially and rapidly
Elevating up.
no backpacks, no heavy textbooks, just the sharpest aesthetic on the grid, celebrating exactly what the dedicated youth of this Western
Avenue did.
the staccato clavinet keys dictating the exact rhythm of our walking feet. The absolute greatest visual presentation on this entire
Concrete street.
the staccato chords bouncing,
The heavy drum kicking precise.
rolling up to the gymnasium.
Rolling the metropolitan dice.
The
velvet tuxedo. The silk dress gracefully hitting the floor.
closing the heavy academic chapter.
Unlocking a brand new door. Keep the high. Keep the high. Synth whining.
Let the rolling bass line drop.
The 99 prom night magic.
It's absolutely never
Gonna stop.
The tempo suddenly drops down, the heavy rhythmic drum break takes a pause. The gymnasium fills up with the romantic and undeniable quiet applause. I pull it close to the tuxedo jacket swinging perfectly under the disco ball, answering the final, ultimate
High school physical and emotional call.
The photographer tucks the freeze, the bright vintage bulb flashes white, capturing the undisputed royalty of this unforgettable and
flawless night.
the staccato chords keep bouncing perfectly right inside my focused brain.
Knowing we about to step out into the adult metropolitan rain.
But for this one specific night, we completely and entirely own the throne. The sharpest 99 aesthetic that the local avenue baseline return, shaking the bleachers, sitting in the back row. Exactly how the heavyweight champions of the golden era are supposed to go.
We leave the gymnasium, walking back out to the heavy Detroit steel, preserving exactly how this completely flawless 99 night is supposed to feel.
The staccato chorus bouncing,
The heavy drum kicking precise,
rolling up to the gymnasium,
rolling the metropolitan dice.
The tuxedo,
The silk dress gracefully hitting the floor,
closing the heavy academic chapter.
unlocking a brand new door.
Keep the
High synth whining,
let the rolling bass line drop.
the 99 prom night magic is absolutely never gonna stop.
Yeah. 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 We watching the absolute heavy physical titans completely rule the globe. Wearing the heavy championship rings in the entirely velvet robe, from the polished hardwood floor strictly to the heavy canvas square. Your absolute greatest 99 physical dominance in the air. Keep the heavy brass bouncing, let the high-pitched synth whine scream, living completely strictly inside the absolute heavyweight physical dream. Switch the channel to heavy television screen, showing the bright flashing lights. We tuning entirely into the absolute most violent and undeniable global fights. No heavy flashy entrance gear, no entirely completely useless street noise. Just a heavy cut black towel and the absolute terrifying 99 poise. Black trunks, no socks, entirely completely laced up in the heavy black shoes, giving the absolute entirely heavyweight division the undeniable blues. The heavy bell rings, the staccato brass strictly drops completely and incredibly low, preparing for the most undeniably terrifying, entirely physical combat show. He slips the heavy left jab, rolling entirely directly strictly underneath, showing the absolute heavy undeniable physical power clutched in his teeth. The heavy right uppercut connects perfectly straight to the opponent's chin, exactly where the absolute completely undeniable iron legacy truly begins. 90 seconds into the first round, the entirely heavy referee waves it off, making the entirely completely absolute heavy metropolitan doubters softly cough. We watching the absolute heavy physical titans completely rule the globe. Wearing the heavy championship rings in the entirely velvet robe, from the polished hardwood floor strictly to the heavy canvas square. The absolute greatest 99 physical dominance in the air. Keep the heavy brass bouncing, let the high-pitched synth whine scream, living completely strictly inside the absolute heavyweight physical dream. You completely cannot replicate the absolute heavy aura of these physical kings. The entirely undeniable heavyweight of the multiple gold championship rings. Kids on the heavy concrete, completely strictly practicing the smooth fadeaway shot, giving the absolute entirely heavy physical neighborhood exactly what they got. Shadow boxing completely directly under the heavy yellow street lamp glow, trying to entirely strictly mimic the absolute heavy, completely devastating blow. They didn't just entirely play the heavy game, they completely became the sport, ruling the heavy canvas ring and the absolute undeniably polished wooden court. The deep low end bass vibrating entirely strictly through the physical chest, knowing you are entirely absolutely completely watching the undisputed best. The heavy flash balls popping entirely completely outside the massive arena doors. The absolute heavy 99 physical legend settling the undeniable scores. You bought the heavy leather sneakers just to feel entirely complete off the ground, chasing the absolute completely entirely perfect 99 heavy physical sound. We watching the absolute heavy physical titans completely rule the globe, wearing the heavy championship rings in the entirely velvet robe, from the polished hardwood floor strictly to the heavy canvas square. The absolute greatest 99 physical dominance in the air. Keep the heavy brass bouncing, let the high-pitched synth whine scream, living completely strictly inside the absolute heavyweight physical dream. The heavy 99 era absolute absolutely strictly built the entirely permanent mold. The absolute greatest, completely heavy physical metropolitan stories ever told. When the heavy shot clock entirely, strictly, completely wound down directly to zero, they absolutely completely knew exactly who was the entirely heavy street hero. When the heavy iron bell entirely completely rang strictly for the opening round, the absolute entirely heavy opposition completely entirely hit the physical ground. The sharp brass chords completely strictly bouncing directly on the heavy drum, showing exactly where the absolute undeniably heavy physical champions come from. We entirely sitting strictly on the fabric couch, watching the heavy tube screen glow, witnessing the entirely completely absolute undeniable heavy 99 show. These ain't just entirely physical athletes, they absolutely heavy guys of the block, completely entirely defeating the heavy relentless ticking of the analog clock. The high pitch synth completely crying strictly over the heavy rolling and bass, cementing the absolute heavy entirely undeniable legacy strictly in this physical space. Yeah, numbers flashing green on a little plastic screen on my hip, sending out the digital signal to the tight heavyweight clip. Decode the cipher, drop the coin and make the direct connection clear. Navigating the urban layout without an ounce of hesitation or fear. Keep the piano bouncing hard, let the rhythmic drums hit the flow. This is the exact street language that we completely operate for. I dropped the quarter down a narrow slot, hearing the heavy mechanical click, lifting up the black receiver, dialing the numbers incredibly sharp and quick. The dial tone disappears, replaced by the operator's monotone voice line, asking for the pager number so she can send the code down the pipeline. I tell her type 411, follow strictly by the home base keys, putting the formerly chaotic street business completely and perfectly at ease. My homie Archum is sitting on the other side of the metropolitan town, waiting for his pocket device to buzz before he lays the blueprints down. He reads the 343, knowing it's time to gather up the regular crew to handle the heavy electrical engineering work we promised to do. No wires attached to our bodies, just radio towers broadcasting the wave. The only way a self-made independent brother knows how to behave. The crisp drums keeping the momentum shifted smoothly on the concrete ground, solidifying the absolute heaviest and most authentic late 90s sound. Numbers flashing green on the little plastic screen on my hip, sending out the digital signal to the tight heavyweight clip. Yeah, decode the cipher, drop the coin and make the direct connection clear. Navigating the urban layout without an ounce of hesitation or fear. Keep the piano bouncing hard, let the rhythmic drums hit the flow. This is the exact street language that we completely operate for. You gotta memorize the code book if you wanna survive the nightly cruise. Every sequence has a heavy meaning that a smart man can never lose. 143 flashes up when my beautiful queen is waiting back at home, letting me know I ain't navigating this massive concrete grid completely alone. She is sitting comfortably on the couch, watching the television screen glow, sending the love through the airwaves, keeping the stressful reality slow. But if the screen displays a code 187 near the Avenue gate, you know there's heavy trouble brewing and you absolutely cannot be late. We don't need the long paragraphs or the user's chatter on the line. Just a 3-digit sequence to let the entire brotherhood align. I hang the receiver back on the hook, stepping out the payphone booth, equipped with the absolute latest and most undeniable neighborhood truth. The staccato keys continuing to bounce, driving the rhythm straight to the chest, putting our tactical communication system to the ultimate physical test. Numbers flashing green on a little plastic screen on my hip, sending out the digital signal to the tight heavyweight clip. Decode the cipher, drop the coin and make the direct connection connection clear. Navigating the urban layout without an ounce of hesitation or fear. Keep the piano bouncing hard. Let the rhythmic drums hit the floor. This is the exact street language that we completely operate for. I slide back into the driver's seat of the heavy classic Chevy ride. The pager buzzing one more time, filling the cockpit with a sense of pride. It reads 07734, the ancient upside down code for hello. From the brother standing under the street lamp where the steady waters flow. Twist the ignition key, letting the V8 engine rumble deep and loud. Ready to navigate the boulevard, moving seamlessly through the crowd. We mastered the art of the silent signal, the matrix numbers in the dark, leaving a permanent, undeniable 90 slow. Generational mark. The high-pitched synth whine screams one last time against the velvet sky, proving that the classic analog street mentality is never gonna die. You check your belt, you check the screen, you keep your operations tight, and let the numbers guide your destination through the metropolitan night. Numbers flashing green on the little plastic screen on my hip. Sending out the digital signal to the tight heavyweight clip. Decode the cipher, drop the coin and make the direct connection clear. Navigating the urban layout without an ounce of hesitation or fear. Keep the piano bouncing hard, let the rhythmic drums hit the floor. This is the exact street language that we completely operate for.
Yeah. This is what I know. We weaving. We weaving the heavy fibers of the neighborhood thread, remembering exactly what the older generation said.
Standing shoulder to shoulder,
entirely unbroken and tall. Catching every single brother before
they can physically fall.
Yeah, the individual is strong, but the collective is an absolute wall.
Answering the undeniable heavy community call.
Yeah, I see the local mechanics popping the heavy steel automobile hood, showing the younger kids exactly how to make the classic engine good. Keeping them entirely away from the dangerous shadows of the corner, before another heavy mother becomes a completely heartbroken mourner. The local barbershop is packed, but it absolutely ain't just for a fade. It's exactly where the undisputed heavy community plans are made. We pooling our wrinkled paper to help a local family pay the rent, making entirely sure the neighborhood capital is completely properly spent. A heavy storm rolled through and completely took down the old maple tree, but a dozen neighborhood men with axes cleared the physical street for free. You don't absolutely need to beg the system when the brotherhood is real. We strictly holding the steering wheel of our own heavy automobile. It's a completely undeniable chemistry built on the absolute mutual respects, the absolute greatest heavy defense that the universe can ever project.
We weave in the heavy fibers of the neighborhood thread,
remembering exactly what the older generation said.
Standing shoulder to shoulder, entirely unbroken and tall.
Catching
every single brother before they can physically fall.
Yeah, the individual is strong, but the collective is an absolute wall.
Answering the undeniable heavy community call.
Yeah. The afternoon sun is entirely dipping strictly below the western roofs, providing the absolute, undeniably heavy, completely living proofs. We shut down the intersection, blocking it strictly with the classic cars, setting up the heavy barbecue grills directly underneath the early stars. Every single family bringing out a completely different homemade dish, fulfilling the absolute ultimate, completely peaceful neighborhood wish. The kids jumping the double dutch rope directly in the middle of the street, stepping entirely perfectly in time, strictly with the heavy G-funk beat. The elders sitting completely in the folding chairs, nodding their head. The heavy community spirit is absolutely entirely far from dead. We breaking the bread completely together, pouring out the sweet tea, embracing the beautiful reality of exactly what a block should be. No heavy rivalries today, no entirely unnecessary
necessary territorial lines. Just a completely unified grid where absolutely everybody shines. We weave in the heavy fibers of the neighborhood thread,
Remembering exactly what the older generation said.
standing shoulder to shoulder, entirely unbroken and tall,
Catching every
single brother before they can physically fall.
Yeah, the individual is strong, but the collective is an absolute wall.
Answering the undeniable heavy community call.
Yeah, they completely try to build a heavy wall to keep us all physically divided. But the absolute undeniably heavy truth of the block is already decided. A single wooden stick is incredibly easy to snap completely in half, causing the undeniable heavy metropolitan enemies to absolutely laugh. But when you bundle the wood tightly together, it will entirely never break.
That is the exact heavy choice
That's that the neighborhood completely has to make. We are the absolute architects of our own completely peaceful fate, erasing the heavy metropolitan ignorance and the entirely useless hate.
I look completely across the asphalt, strictly at the faces of my crew, knowing there is absolutely entirely nothing that we completely cannot do.
The group harmony singing out an absolutely beautiful soulful chord, stronger than any single undeniably heavy and sharp
Iron soul. We stand completely united, exactly like a completely massive oak, remembering absolutely every single heavy word that the ancestors spoke. We weave in the heavy fibers of the neighborhood thread,
remembering exactly what the older generation said.
standing shoulder to shoulder, entirely unbroken and tall,
Catching
every single brother before they can physically fall.
Yeah, the individual is strong, but the
Collective
is an absolute wall.
answering the undeniable
Heavy community call. Yeah, look entirely around the block.
The intersection is completely clear,
The kids are absolutely safe.
and the plates are entirely full.
You absolutely cannot buy that kind of heavy security with the paper
You build it entirely with the trust, with the physical sweat,
and with the undeniable
heavy brotherhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Feeling exactly like a heavy, undeniable, nostalgic neighborhood champ. I flip the heavy cardboard page and completely stop in my physical tracks, getting hit entirely hard by the absolute heavy metropolitan facts. A single square picture strictly fading around the white paper edges, captured directly underneath the old concrete neighborhood ledges. The colors are washed out, the heavy physical shadows are incredibly long, but the undeniably heavy memories absolutely, entirely, completely strong. I look directly at the young faces, completely smiling, strictly in the sun, before the heavy physical realities of the adulthood had entirely begun. We thought we completely understood exactly how the heavy universe turns, before you absolutely realize exactly how the heavy metropolitan fire burns. Look strictly at the faded paper, entirely freezing the heavy time, captured completely perfectly inside this undeniable, nostalgic rhyme. We were absolutely dreaming, incredibly big beneath the western sky,
Watching the heavy physical decades
entirely, completely
flying by.
Yeah, the photograph is asking
Exactly who we finally became,
navigating completely safely
through the undeniable heavy street game.
I drag my index finger entirely across the glossy physical square, remembering exactly what it felt like to completely breathe that summer air. Me and Artyom Kormakov standing directly by the heavy green felt, the absolute sharpest, undeniable brotherhood that a young man ever felt. Holding the custom wooden cue strictly for the heavy Russian pyramid game, before the heavy neighborhood avenue absolutely, completely knew our name. We were sitting strictly on the porch with the heavy electrical engineering books, trading those completely undeniable, heavy and ambitious West Coast looks, trying to absolutely calculate the heavy power systems in the complex grids. Just a couple of undeniably dedicated and heavy neighborhood
Swore we would completely, entirely light up the massive dark city and show absolutely zero undeniable physical metropolitan pity. The jazz saxophone strictly crying for the heavy innocence we completely lost. Recognizing the absolute undeniably heavy physical universal cause. Look strictly at the faded paper, entirely freezing the heavy time.
Capture completely, perfectly inside
This undeniable nostalgic rhyme.
We were absolutely dreaming,
Incredibly big beneath the western sky.
watching the heavy physical decades
Entirely, completely.
flying by.
Yeah, the photograph is asking,
Exactly who we finally became,
navigating completely safely.
through the undeniable heavy street game.
I look strictly at the clothes we wore, the faded heavy denim and the white tees. Standing entirely, completely tall, next to the neighborhood maple trees. Some of the cats in the background took a completely different physical road, carrying an absolute, undeniably heavy and destructive metropolitan load. But we completely, entirely stayed strictly true to the heavy original plan, building up the absolute foundation of a completely undeniable man. The heavy move bass completely rolling exactly like the passing years, washing away the absolutely heavy, completely undeniable youthful fears. The classic cars we dreamed about are absolutely, completely sitting in the drive, proving that the heavy neighborhood spirit is entirely,
Completely alive.
but the absolute physical eyes in the picture are entirely, completely different now, because we absolutely, completely, entirely figured out the heavy
Physical how
We traded the heavy, reckless energy for the absolute quiet wisdom and the peace. Watching the undeniably heavy physical metropolitan chaos completely, entirely cease. Yeah,
Look strictly at the faded paper,
entirely freezing the heavy time.
capture completely, perfectly inside
This undeniable nostalgic rhyme. We were absolutely
dreaming,
incredibly big beneath the western sky.
watching the heavy physical decades
Entirely,
completely flying by.
yeah, the photograph is asking,
Exactly who we finally became,
navigating completely safely.
through the undeniable heavy street game.
Yeah. If you want this, tearing completely. Yeah, tearing completely through the thick plastic blister pack with the car keys. Getting exactly ready to put the heavy optical audio strictly on the breeze. Got the brand new silver disc player resting comfortably right in my palm. Keep keeping the heavy physical metropolitan excitement perfectly calm. I pop the circular lid open, slide the shiny disc directly on the spindle. Watching the heavy analog tape error entirely and completely start to dwindle. The red laser strictly searching completely for the very first digital track. Pushing the heavy play button, there is absolutely no physical turning back. The crisp drums hit the foam headphones incredibly and undeniably clean. The absolute sharpest audio quality that this western neighborhood has ever seen. The deep low-end bass entirely vibrating strictly through the black wire. Taking the heavy West Coast 99 standard completely higher. I clip it strictly to the heavy denim belt, ready to walk the concrete block. If you want, stepping entirely perfectly in time with the heavy analog clock. But the absolute minute I take a heavy step, strictly on the concrete street, the optical laser entirely completely loses the heavy drum beat. The sharp staccato piano completely stutters and sharply drops. The entirely flawless 99 G funk rhythm absolutely stops. You absolutely cannot jog, you completely cannot walk incredibly fast.
If you want this heavy optical listening experience to strictly last, you gotta glide completely over the asphalt exactly like a heavy ghost. That is the absolute undeniable physical limitation we hate the most. Holding the plastic player strictly flat in the palm like a silver tray, navigating the completely chaotic heavy metropolitan physical way. They advertise the 3-second anti-skip memory on the cardboard box, but that entirely completely fails when you step in strictly on the ride. I see the brother standing completely under the heavy corner street light, trying to completely keep my physical walking rhythm incredibly tight. If you bump your heavy hip entirely strictly against the solid brick wall, you absolutely miss the entirely heavy and beautiful musical call. It's an absolute heavy test of the completely smooth physical grace, navigating this incredibly chaotic and undeniably heavy western space. The staccato piano bouncing back exactly when I stand perfectly still, bending the heavy optical technology strictly to the physical will. But the absolute minute I take a heavy step strictly on the concrete street, but the optical laser entirely completely loses the heavy drum beat. The sharp staccato piano completely stutters and sharply drops. You think entirely flawless 99G funk rhythm absolutely stops. You absolutely cannot jog, you completely cannot walk incredibly fast. If you want this heavy optical listening experience to strictly last, it is a completely entirely different story strictly inside the heavy ride, sliding entirely into the classic heavy Chevy Suburban with absolute pride. You plug the cassette adapter strictly straight into the dashboard deck, keeping the entirely heavy optical skipping frustration completely in check. The heavy Detroit suspension absorbs every single bump on the strip, allowing the heavy digital laser to maintain the perfect physical grip. The staccato keys bouncing completely perfect and strictly off the leather seat, delivering the absolute undeniably heavy and completely perfect beat. We entirely traded the heavy manual pencil rewind for the optical bang, upgrading the completely undeniable heavy 99 physical street dream. But when you step entirely back out completely onto the physical avenue, you absolutely gotta remember exactly what the heavy concrete will do. Keep the plastic device strictly entirely completely level with the ground to preserve the absolute completely undeniably flawless West Coast sound. But the absolute minute I take a heavy step strictly on the concrete street, the optical laser entirely completely loses the heavy drum beat. The sharp staccato piano completely stutters and sharply drops. Get the entirely flawless 99G funk rhythm absolutely stops. You absolutely cannot jog, you completely cannot walk incredibly fast. If you want this heavy optical listening experience to strictly last.
Yeah. Yeah. The avenue was crowded with 1,000 empty words. The loudest voices out here are the ones that never heard. A brother on the corner trying to project his pride, screaming at the sky about the hunger deep inside. But he keeps his lips moving, never catching a reply. Watching all the wisdom simply pass his vision by. I walk through the racket with my collar pulled up high, observing every shadow beneath the heavy midnight sky. True power isn't found in how incredibly loud you can shout, it's knowing exactly what the quiet silence is about. The foolish man is talking just to fill the empty space, running a reckless marathon inside a static race. But I am soaking up the lessons from the rhythm of the street, gathering the data while I'm moving on my feet. You gotta catch the frequency before you drop the rhyme, respecting the heavy cadence of the passing and now time.
Lock down the conversation, let the silence breathe. Catch the subtle wisdom blowing through the maple leaves.
The word is always shouting,
Trying to claim the prize,
but the quiet listener
is the one who truly grows wise.
Yeah.
Close your lips
and open up the inner ear,
and let the perfect rhythm of the universe become clear.
I stepped inside the pool hall where the air was thick with smoke, listening to the heavy truths the older generation spoke. My homie Art and Cormacar was leaning on his cue, staring at the table, mapping out a difficult view. A young cat walked and bragging about his paper and his fame, disrupting the entire spirit of the legendary game. Artyom didn't say a word, he just listened to the noise, separating the true heavyweight men from the foolish boys. He let the bragger finish, let him empty out his chest before he lined his shot up and put the target to the rest. With a smooth and silent stroke, he sent the ivory to the hole, a masterclass in silence that completely shook the soul. You see, when you were quiet, you could see the opponent's card, navigating the complex angles of the metropolitan yard. The road's piano chords are weaving smoothly with the rain, washing all the unnecessary static from the brain.
Lock down the conversation, let the silence breathe.
Yeah.
Catch the subtle wisdom blowing through the maple leaves.
The world is always shouting,
Trying to claim the prize, but the quiet listener is the one who truly grows wise.
Yeah.
Close your lips
and open up the inner ear,
and let the perfect rhythm of the universe become clear.
A lot of brothers fall because they spoke before they thought, trapped inside the heavy webs of their own vocabulary caught. They make a massive promise that their hands can never keep, while the silent predator is moving through the deep. I sit beneath the awning of the local grocery store, learning more from quiet observation than any textbook lore. The old woman walking by with the heavy grocery sack, the subtle way she sighs tells the story of her back. The click of the leather boots, the shifting of the eyes, the quiet little secrets that the busy street denies. If you are always broadcasting, you can never intercept the ancient code of honor that the neighborhood has kept. So I keep my journal open and my silver pen at rest, putting my internal comprehension to the test. The deep mood bass is rolling like a heartbeat in the dark, igniting a completely peaceful and perceptive spark.
Lock down the conversation, let the silence breathe. Catch the subtle wisdom blowing through the maple leaves.
The world is always shouting,
Trying to claim the prize, but the quiet listener is the one who truly grows wise. Close your lips
and open up the inner ear,
and let the perfect rhythm of the universe become.
when you sit down with your lady on the living room couch, and you need the kind of truth for which your gentle soul can vouch. Don't try to solve the universe or preach a heavy speech, just listen to the quiet boundaries that the words can reach. Hear the underlying sorrow or the joy behind the breath, conquering the isolation which is a relationship's depth. The true communication isn't a one-way boulevard, it's a heavy shared sanctuary when the outside times are hard. I learned to value the silence just as much as the spoken line, watching the beautiful architecture of the human mind. The line, the rain is slowing down now, dripping softly from the roof, leaving us completely with the ultimate undeniable proof that the greatest heavyweight champions don't have to make a sound to maintain the absolute respect of the entire concrete ground. Open up your ears and let the heavy wisdom flow,
Taking the chaotic metropolitan reality nice and slow.
city lights,
The city lights are shining,
but the pavement is so cold.
a million different stories
that are never being told.
We caught up in the hustle,
Trying to find our own way,
but a simple act of mercy,
brings the sunlight to the gray.
yeah. Reach out your hand when a brother is down.
That is the realest elevation
in this western town.
I could easily hit the gas and let the V8 engine roar away, but my conscience is pulling the emergency brake today. I pulled the classic iron over to the curb and put it in park, stepping out into the freezing reality of the urban dark. Walked up to the corner, his weary eyes are looking at the ground, expecting another shadow to pass him by without a sound. I say, good evening, brother, how's the avenue treating you? He looks up surprised, his eyes are misty and tired, shade of blue. He tells me the winter wind is cutting right straight to the bone, and there ain't a feeling worse than feeling totally alone. His jacket is frayed, his boots are wrapped in the mask and tape, trapped inside a labyrinth where there is no easy escape.
The city lights are shining,
but the pavement is so cold.
a million different stories
that are never being told.
we caught up in simple act of mercy
brings the sunlight to the grave.
Yeah, reach out your hand when a brother is down.
That is the realest elevation
in this western town.
I tell him to hold a spot. I will be back in just a minute. Walked into the corner diner with the bright fluorescent lights in it. Ordered 2 large hot coffees and a double cheeseburger meal, because I know exactly how an empty aching stomach makes you feel. I popped the trunk of my ride and grabbed a thick wool blanket from the back, the kind of woven warmth that helps a man stay on track. I walk back to the corner, hand him the steaming paper bag. He takes it with a shaking hand, holding this rag and canvas drag. We sit on the concrete bench, drinking the coffee black and sweet, finding the human connection right here on the freezing street. He doesn't ask for pity, he just says a quiet and honest grace. I see the dignified humanity returning softly to his face.
The city lights are shining,
but the pavement is so cold.
A million different stories
that are never being told.
We caught up in the hustle,
trying to find our own way,
but a simple act of mercy
brings the sunlight to the grave.
Yeah, reach out your hand when a brother is down.
That is the realest elevation
in this western town.
Yeah, he talks about his past. He used to work the local assembly line, had a family, a house, and everything was doing fine. But the factory closed down, the hard times quickly came around, and the metropolitan machine threw him straight onto the ground. It reminds me how fragile this entire daily operation is. One bad break, and my reality could look exactly like his. I dig into my denim pocket, pull out a folding $20 bill. It ain't gonna solve the world, but it helps him climb the hill. He smiles and nods his head, thanking me for the company and time, proving that compassion is the greatest and the smoothest rhyme. I stand up from the bench, giving him a solid brotherly embrace, leaving a little bit of hope right there in that empty space.
City lights are shining, but the pavement's so cold. A million different stories that are never being told. We caught up in the hustle,
trying to find our
own way, but a simple act of mercy
brings the sunlight to the grave.
Yeah, reach out your hand when a brother is down.
That is the realest
elevation in this western town.
Yeah. 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 Waking up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Waking up. Yeah. Waking and feeling no. Yeah. Yeah. Waking up feeling the warm breeze blowing entirely through the screen door. Exactly what I've been entirely preparing this quiet weekend for. Another calendar year fading completely strictly into the past. Building a quiet physical foundation entirely perfectly meant to last. I walk strictly out to the backyard, stepping exactly on the green grass, watching the lazy afternoon clouds completely slowly and silently pass. My beautiful queen is setting out the paper plates and the heavy cups, holding down the undeniable sanctuary entirely through all the downs and the ups. We don't entirely need a heavy crowded club with the flashing strobe light, just a comfortable patio chair and the physical temperature sitting exactly right. I throw the marinated meat directly, completely onto the heavy iron grill, showing the physical neighborhood how to entirely, undeniably master the chill, the heavy smoke entirely rising up, mixing with the California heat. The most undeniably authentic celebration entirely on the physical street.
We ain't popping no heavy champagne,
completely inside the loud crowd,
keeping the celebration entirely smooth.
Absolutely ain't playing it too loud.
Just the solid brotherhood
and the heavy family right by the side,
taking another completely graceful lap on this undeniable physical ride.
Yeah, the paper comes and entirely goes,
but the heavy loyalty is deep.
This is the exact physical piece
that I absolutely absolutely, entirely wanna keep.
I hear the heavy rumble of a classic V8 engine entirely turning down the block, defying the relentless heavy pushing of the absolute analog clock. It's RDM Kormakov pulling completely up directly by the front concrete curve, making entirely sure the peaceful neighborhood spirit absolutely ain't disturbed. He walks entirely through the gate, carrying a heavy custom leather case, bringing the absolute entirely realist energy strictly into this
Physical space.
Got the heavy two-piece wooden shafts entirely ready for the green felt. The absolute sharpest, undisputed loyalty your physical brother ever completely felt. We gonna entirely shoot some heavy Russian pyramid exactly when the sun goes down. The reigning absolute undisputed hemlock champions completely of this western town. He strictly cracks a cold root beer, handing me the entirely frosty glass. Watching the heavy afternoon shadows completely and undeniably
Beautifully packed.
No fake handshakes, no heavy pretender, strictly for the camera flash. Just holding entirely onto the authentic memories exactly like
A heavy hitting cat.
we ain't popping no
Heavy champagne, completely inside the loud crowd, keeping the celebration entirely smooth.
absolutely ain't playing it too loud.
Just a solid brotherhood and the heavy family right by the side, taking another completely graceful lap on this undeniable physical ride.
Yeah, the paper comes and entirely goes,
But the heavy loyalty is deep,
this is the exact physical piece
that I absolutely entirely wanna keep.
the heavy food is finally completely ready, sizzling entirely perfectly on the plate. A simple, absolute, undisputed feast that you entirely gotta absolutely appreciate. We sitting strictly in a circle, talking completely about the heavy lessons we learned, respecting absolutely every single physical gray hair that we entirely completely earned. Some street cats think growing older means you entirely gotta buy the heavy gold chain, trying to completely strictly hide the undeniable heavy metropolitan pain. But the absolute true elevation is finding the completely undisputed quiet zone, sitting comfortably, completely, strictly upon your own physical backyard throne. My lady leaning her head completely perfectly on my
Physical shoulder,
making me entirely, absolutely grateful that I am
undeniably strictly growing older.
the heavy G-funk rhythm bumping smoothly entirely from the wooden speaker box, more entirely valuable than a heavy steel safe, completely filled
With the shiny rocks,
we laughing completely at the old stories, strictly from the
heavy reckless days,
navigating completely safely entirely out of that heavy.
metropolitan maze.
We ain't popping no
Heavy champagne, completely inside the loud crowd, keeping the celebration entirely smooth. Absolutely ain't playing it too loud. Just a solid brotherhood and the heavy family right by the side, taking another completely graceful lap on this undeniable physical ride.
yeah, the paper comes and entirely goes,
But the heavy loyalty is deep,
this is the exact physical piece
that I absolutely entirely want to keep.
The heavy twilight is entirely strictly settling down completely over the neighborhood roof, providing the absolute, complete, undeniably heavy and absolute living proof that you absolutely don't entirely need. The massive crowd strictly
To validate your